Tip number 117 from the book 501 Contractor Tips. This one is on paying your federal, state, and local taxes. Now, if you have employees and you deduct money from their paycheck, you will need to send it to the local authorities. And when I was doing this, it was once a month. I believe it was the 15th of every month. You pay them the money that they owe. And I believe if it's over $100,000, you have to pay it within the next day or the next 2 days. So make sure that you understand all of these, all of your rules or laws based upon whatever your local government entity is requiring. So that's not your money. Even when you get paid and you have a large lump sum of money and you owe taxes on that money, you need to somehow put that money aside. You can't just, think that it's your money. But when it comes to payroll and you don't pay that money, this isn't the same thing as if you owe taxes personally. If you owe personal income taxes, that's one thing. But if you have taken the money out of someone else's check, you've taken someone else's money, and you don't have that money, this is a whole nother deal. So, and I have no idea what it is. I never let that happen. I paid that money on time every single month because it was an obligation. This is part of doing business. You need to be responsible for your obligations in business. One of those obligations will be signing contracts and finishing the jobs. Another obligation will be making sure that you have safe working conditions. These are all part of the business, the construction business. Your obligation, you will be obligated if you have employees to pay state, local, and federal taxes on time, every month, every job you do. So keep that in mind. And I know you're probably thinking, why are you telling me this? I know this. Reason why I'm making this video is because I've seen a few contractors get behind on their payments. And it isn't a pretty sight. It's hard to catch up sometimes. It's like instead of paying their lumber bill, they're paying the feds. Okay, and then another month goes by and they owe more to the feds, but the lumber bill isn't getting covered. It's just not. You've got to always, and I can't stress this enough, you've got to be anticipating the next move. What is going to happen? Hey, if I'm behind on a job, I'm losing money on a job, and it's going to cost me more money. I'm going to have to, just as you say, it's going to cost you an extra $10,000 to finish the job. And some of this $10,000, let's just say 8,000 of it is going to be employee expenses. Well, if you don't have that money, you're going to have a difficult time paying your employees and those taxes. Now, if you have the money to pay the employees, but you don't have the money to pay the taxes, this is still a difficult situation to be in. You do not want to be here. And I understand at one point in your career, you're going to run into something like this, or should I say, you could run into something like this. And then, of course, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to make some changes to make sure it doesn't happen again. And trust me, this can be an extremely painful experience. I've known contractors who have owed money for years trying to pay back some of this money. And it's just an ongoing process every single month. It's more money, it's more interest, it's more money that they shouldn't be spending. Now, if you're the kind of person who's going out and you're buying a brand new boat with your tax money, then this is just outright stupidity. Hey, and if you're the kind of person who thinks you're going to make it up on the next job, eventually you're going to run into a job that you're not going to be able to make it up on. So there are variables, and there are always going to be variables. There are always going to be situations and circumstances you're going to run into in the construction business. The fewer of them that you can that are going to be painful or create problems for you, like this, payroll expenses, the fewer those problems are, the better off you're going to be and the more successful you're going to be. It's less stuff to worry about. It's like some of the information in this book. I know some of it isn't really the best. You're not going to, this isn't like, hey, that was a fantastic tip. But it's like I've said throughout these videos, if you could just find one tip in here or a couple of tips. Even this one here, this isn't a bad tip here. If you're not paying attention, this is something a lot of people get in trouble. And if you're a contractor who knows other contractors, ask them, hey, have you ever gotten in trouble with your you owed back taxes on something, your payroll stuff? There's a good chance you're going to find at least 1 out of 5 who have. You know, it's just kind of, it seems like what the business is, or the people who make it up. It's just, we're not very smart, and we think we are, until we run into something like this, and it turns out to be a nightmare. And like I said, sometimes it's going to take years to pay something like this off, and that is not going to be a good thing.